What's going on, guys? It's CutsbyCoast here, bringing you another video. Today we're going to do a high taper and we're going to trim the top and do some pretty deep point cutting while we're doing so. So we're going to start off by setting up our perimeter. We're going to make sure that we don't cut into any of the weight. The weight's pretty much set up to where I want it. So we're going to come out of the way, make sure its front's out of the way, and then we're going to get started. And if you guys don't already know, of course, today I'm doing this on Seancutshair. If you know him through YouTube or Instagram, that's his name. At the shop, we call him Mr. Clutch. He's receding just a little bit here in the front, so I laid the front down in that certain way so that we do not cut into any of that, and he makes sure that we can keep all of his corners. And whenever you're point cutting, one thing I always do is I rest the blade on my finger as I go across to make sure that I do not cut myself. I know a lot of barbers have trouble with this, especially because it's something foreign. You learn to cut it straight across in school. And most of the time, if you do point cutting, maybe you have talked to a Cosmo or maybe you just seen it on YouTube. So my tip for you guys on that is just making sure that your shear blade is rested upon your finger. As you see right to the side here, guys, I'm making sure that my fingers are very square to his head, making sure that the hair on the sides will support the hair on top once we finally get done cutting into the sides. So whenever you set it up this way, it's just the same as the front. You know, you make sure that you avoid any problem areas because you set it up the way you're supposed to. And right here, guys, we are going in with a 6 guard with the lever closed. We're setting it up. I was setting this up for a bald fade. We ended up doing a taper on this day, so I did potentially cut off a little too much of the weight. But a 6 guard helps us leave a little bit of weight for him to style, but not too much to where it's messy and all over the place. So after we've done that, we're going to do our regular steps. We're going to set in our bald line, come back in with the shaver, and then start with our open section, flicking up into the hair. And guys, I cut pretty fast, so I tried to leave this a little bit closer towards real time. After open, I always do half open, then lever all the way closed. And you can see right there, he looked at the camera, he was letting me know that I'm all right, but I could scoot to my left just a little bit to make sure that you can get the full haircut on the screen. So like I said in my previous videos, getting your angles is one of the hardest things as a beginning YouTube barber. And you know, as long as you got another set of eyes, you'll always be straight. So now we're going in with our 1 guard, doing the same exact steps. We're just softening up our line, trying to make sure that we leave all that weight right there. You see I'm flicking right into what we want to keep. As long as we comb the hair of the front corner out of the way, we can stay right there and we'll be all right. Alright guys, we're going to come in and do the same steps on the other side. This side I think you guys can see just a little bit better because I am more out of the way on this camera angle, but I'm going to let the beat ride a little bit and I'm going to throw in some gems where I feel that they fit, and I'm going to let you guys kind of enjoy this haircut. Guys, weird enough, whenever you cut somebody with tattoos, you see I put my open section in, it looks like it's already faded. So I just went through my steps, did my half open and my lever all the way closed, but whenever I did my first spot, it looked like it was faded. So I mean, you could leave it there if you just were wanting to be a lazy barber that day, but you know, if you do cut somebody with head tattoos, just make sure that you're doing the steps that you know, and help you get through it. Right here you see his hairline's a little heavy. I didn't want to just smack a line on there, so I'm taking a 4-guard open, just flicking into that hair, just kind of soften it up to where we can put a sharp line on it and it doesn't look way too heavy where the hair is laying at. Do a little bit of shear over comb, just knocking out a slight amount of weight. Whenever you do clipper over comb, you always want to take the back side of the comb and make sure that it's wedged against the head so that you do not cut off too much hair. Right here we're going to go in and sit in our bald line again with our wall detailers, and on his neck we don't use any of the shavers. They all kind of break them out a little bit. As you can see, he's got a couple bumps. I try to avoid that on him because, you know, I've cut his hair several times. I mean, more than I could count, so I know exactly how his hair goes and what irritates his skin. So what we do is we just take our closest trimmer, getting it as close as we can without breaking them out as much. And if you do have clients that break out, you can use a product called Skin Tight, or one time I ordered an Andis shaver and they sent me some Andis Bump Care. Those are two things that, you know, if you kind of take the head off of a bump or a pimple, then you put that on there and you hold it on there, it will actually kill off the germs inside and it'll heal better for him too. So after we get done with his haircut, he's gonna go over to his station, grab some Skin Tight, and really make sure that he gets rid of those. One thing I always stress in my videos is that if you keep going over your steps, you can get yourself in or out of any problem that you have. And right here, the way his occipital sits, you can tell it's giving me some trouble. So I'm just gonna keep going around what I know. We're gonna start with big guard and go from open, halfway closed, reverse. And until we get those lines out, we're just gonna keep going at it and make sure that we do what we know. couldn't tell from that last clip, but he has a pretty wicked crown. This hair right here always sits funny. So whenever I was done, I kind of moved the hair around as if I was gonna style it. And I want to make sure that this part of his calyx is gonna lay perfect. And as you can see, there's some spots that I either missed or cut into whenever I was cutting the sides with that 6. And it showed that I needed to clean it up a little bit. So here I am going back in, just trying to take care of that a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and blow dry his hair and get it ready to style. And whenever we blow dry it, we learn this little trick from Bazio at the Tennessee Barber Expo. I'm just gonna blow dry and brush it in different ways so that it has no memory, that whenever you put your product in, your hair styles the way that you want it and it doesn't try to lay as a comb over, or in other words, the opposite of what you're trying to get it to do. He likes his hairline boxed up, but I don't feel comfortable cutting right into it like that, the way he is. So typically whenever I cut his hair, I'll let him give me a rough draft and then I'll go back in and I'll sharpen it up. But I think here I must have did it because he's pointing it to me and showing me what to do. So I'm gonna go in and line it up if he doesn't and show you guys how we do his hairline. About to go right into styling his hair, and he kind of told me this when I was putting it in. Typically this is how I style hair right here. I just get it on top, try to work it in a little bit. Well, he told me, hey, get it all the way into the root of the hair, push all the hair back, and then lay it back down. So I'm gonna grab a comb here in a second to lay down this 245 clay. But me as a person not having straight hair, he kind of told me a way to better style hair. So right here, I'm gonna let him fix it the way that he does it, and it'll lay in exactly how he likes it on his everyday basis. And here we go, guys, that's the finished product. We got a high taper on the sides, kind of a low taper in the back, and we do have a crop hairstyle on top. If you guys like this haircut, please leave me a like, comment, and hit that subscribe button. If you really mess with me, hit that notification button. I'm going to start doing videos, one every Monday and one every Thursday. I found out a schedule that works for me, and I hope that you guys will continue to watch and grow with me. So I appreciate you guys. It's CutsbyCoast, and I'm out of here.